How to get jacked as a video editor. You can see my credentials on screen right now. A photo on the left is me 10 or so months ago, so a bit under a year. And a photo on the right is me right now with good lighting and a pump. But here you can see a photo of me just completely flat, no pump, basically how I look in real life. I'm not the biggest guy or like the most jacked guy by any means, but I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the difference is pretty massive. And the craziest part is that that photo before, at that point, I was already working out for 3 years. That is insane. I was going to the gym, like being consistent there and being consistent with kind of my diet. I was, trying out different things. Today, I'm obviously going to be talking about stuff that you shouldn't be doing, that I was doing. But still, I was putting so much effort for 3 years and I was still looking like absolute shit. But what happened then is, first of all, I got a gym/fitness coach. So that was a huge kind of turning point in my fitness journey. And today I'm gonna be talking about some stuff that I learned from working with him. But also during this period of 10 months, I also did a kickboxing fight just because why not? And that was super fun. But to prepare for that fight, I was working with like a professional also coach, fighter who had 10 fights, basically a hardcore motherfucker. And I learned a lot from him as well. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about actual things that are working that you need to be doing in order to get in shape specifically as a video editor, not as a normal person. And I'm gonna be making this video specifically for that 10-month-old version of Artem where I was putting genuinely so much time and effort into gym, but seeing absolutely no results. And if you are in a similar position right now, please watch this video. It's not a retention tactic. I just genuinely think that this video is gonna change your life. And if you aren't consistent in the gym yet, then still watch this video because you're gonna be able to apply basically everything once you get consistent after this video. So we're just gonna get straight into it because I have so much to talk about, and honestly, I don't have like a plan for this video or anything like that. I'm just gonna be ripping everything that comes to my mind. And the first thing that you should not be doing is not eating carbs. I don't know if I'm a retard like that, but there is a lot of advice out there on the internet that's like carbs are bad, or any sort of food that people are telling you is bad and you can't be eating. Don't listen to that advice. Life is never black and white. There is nothing 100% good or nothing 100% bad. In every single scenario, there are nuances, and carbs are not the issue. What is the issue is lack of movement. So the first thing that you should start doing every single day as a video editor is some sort of cardio. Trust me, it is a game changer. I don't know how to explain it, but it's fucking gonna change your life. So please start doing it if you aren't doing it already. Basically, what cardio is gonna do for you is, first of all, in your work, it's actually gonna make you more creative. I haven't mentioned this, but that photo before, so me 10 months ago, I haven't hit my 10K month with editing just yet. I'm gonna do it a month after that. But after that point, I've been hitting 10K pretty much every single month. And this thing of just moving around with your body, it makes you a lot more productive and a lot more creative, and that is a huge part. But also in terms of your fitness, cardio is gonna do wonders, because if you wanna look good and if you wanna get jacked, then you need to put on muscle. And the stage where you can't be putting that much muscle on is when you're fat and you're insulin resistant. I'm pretty sure it's called like scientifically as well. But basically what cardio does is, first of all, it obviously makes you less fat. It makes you more insulin sensitive, and it also just skyrockets your metabolism. So metabolism is something I've learned a lot from working with this gym/fitness coach of mine. And metabolism is a huge thing, and you just want to be kind of ramping it up for yourself, because athletes, like the most jacked people in the world, it's not that they don't eat a lot, and that's why they're lean and stuff, but they actually eat a ton, but their metabolism is fast and they're burning a bunch of calories, and their body uses all those calories for fuel. That's why they're able to perform on the highest level. That's why they're able to put on a lot of muscle and look really good. So what we want to start doing is we want to start doing cardio. And essentially there are, well, two types of cardio, I think, scientifically, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to be talking about another type of cardio as a type of cardio, even though technically it isn't. Anyway, there are three types of cardio that you want to be doing. Let's start off with the easiest one, and I think with the biggest game changer ever. That's going to be movement throughout the day. So technically it's not cardio, but non-exercise activities, you going about your day and kind of moving throughout the day. This is really good because what it does is it keeps you active throughout the day. It's not like you're gonna be sitting for 16 hours, then go do cardio for half an hour and then sit again for another 16 hours. That is better than sitting for 32 hours straight and not doing that cardio in between. But if you can move throughout the day just little by little, it doesn't have to be crazy, then it's gonna make a huge difference. And the one thing I want you to start doing today, there is no excuse not to do it. Trust me, again, it's gonna change your life, is something that's called digestion walks. So basically what you do after a meal, you go on a 5 to 10 minute walk. You can wait for maybe 10 minutes after you finish your meal to let it sit down and everything, or you can go straight away. Don't overthink it. The main thing is I would be aiming for 10 minutes of walking after every single meal. It's gonna do a bunch of things for you. So first of all, it's gonna be counting towards your step count for the day. It's gonna help your digestion, it's gonna help your metabolism, and it's gonna keep you more insulin sensitive because your blood sugar isn't gonna spike as much. And that's gonna help you burn fat and put on muscle. So from today, non-negotiable is 10 minutes of walking after every single meal. I have 4 meals a day and I walk after every single one, and I didn't do this before, but this thing genuinely so helpful, and it's so easy to do as well. And then just try to start moving more throughout your day. This gym/fitness coach of mine, he told me that he used to park his car 10 minutes away from the place that he actually wanted to go to, so that then he can walk to that place. And I started doing kind of similar thing. If I can walk instead of driving, if it's possible, then I'm gonna walk instead of driving, take stairs instead of elevator, go to places that are closer to you so that you can walk instead of driving, if there is an option like that. I'm sure there are so many optimizations, small things that you can do in your day-to-day life that are actually gonna add up and make a huge difference over a couple of years. And all these things are gonna be counting towards your 10K steps for the day. 10K steps is insanely good. If you can be hitting that every single day, then go ahead. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not hitting that every day just because partially I live here in Bali, and to be fair, it's not the most walkable place on earth, but I'm gonna give you the protocol of exactly what I do a bit later on after we talk about all types of cardio. But essentially, walk as much as possible because walking is OP. It's literally for no fatigue. You're gonna be burning calories and fat, you're gonna be staying metabolically active, and you're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna get so much more creative. So just start doing it. There is literally no excuse. Now, the second type of cardio that I wanna talk about, which is actually a type of cardio, is zone 2 cardio. So basically there are 5 zones of heart rate that you can be in while doing some kind of activity. The higher the zone, the higher the heart rate. Essentially, these zones is just a way to think about different heart rates. So a good metric to know if you are in zone 2 is you're gonna be able to speak to someone, but it's not like you would want to speak to them. So you're gonna be able to say sentences without, running out of breath, but it's not gonna be the best experience and you would rather just not to speak to them. Anyway, why this zone 2 not so intense cardio is really good is because it's quite low fatigue and it's actually really good for burning fat. How it works is lower intensity cardio, it obviously makes you burn less calories, but more of those calories are actually fat, while high intensity cardio, it makes you burn more calories, let's say, per minute, but the majority of those calories are going to be carbs and sugars. Anyway, zone 2, this kind of slower cardio where you're able to do that for 30, 45 minutes, an hour at a time without wanting to kill yourself all that much, even though first couple of times, to be fair, it might be quite hard, but you're gonna get into it in just a couple of weeks and it's gonna get a lot easier. But essentially, it is really good. And if you aren't doing anything right now in terms of cardio, then maybe start off with like 120 minutes per week. So that's going to be 4 sessions of half an hour, which isn't that hard, but again, it's going to make such a drastic difference. And I just want to preface this, like you might have seen this advice from, I don't know if you watched fitness videos on YouTube or something like that. That's like, don't do cardio after the workout because it's gonna kill your gains, or cardio in general is gonna kill your gains. That is total bullshit. Please don't listen to that. We are meant to move around as humans, and it just so happens that, okay, we're video editors and we aren't moving a lot during the day, during, editing. And yesterday I went on a walk in the morning, but then I was just pretty much working up until I went to the gym. And I knew that after the gym, I'm gonna be working the whole time as well. So what I did is just 30 minutes incline walking after the gym, not that difficult, but it makes such a drastic difference in the long run, because you're actually using the food that you're eating, which is the main thing. Like if you're trying to bulk up and put on muscle, but you're just not moving around and you're eating a bunch of food, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get fat. And how you not get fat is you start doing cardio, and that's gonna enable you to eat more food, which then is gonna make you put on muscle and make you stronger and make your workout better, all these awesome things. But for you not to get fat and for you to be in an actual position to be putting on muscle, because your body is kind of primed to put on muscle when it's leaner rather than more fat, you need to be doing cardio for that. Now, the third type of cardio is high intensity interval type of cardio. So essentially what it is you know how right now we just talked about zone 2 cardio. This is going to be basically the opposite, where it's going to be high intensity, but you're going to be doing it for a shorter period of time, because you can't be in like high intensity for even 5 minutes. I don't think so. So basically what this high intensity interval cardio is imagine that you have an assault bike. Assault bike is basically a stationary bike, but where you can go with your hands as well. And what you do is you do, for example, 20 seconds full on, just all out cycling as hard as you can. And then you chill for 40 seconds while still on the bike, just going a lot slower, just basically resting. And then again, 20 seconds full on sprinting. Basically, this high intensity cardio is sprinting. You can do that on an assault bike. You can do it actually outside sprinting. And who I would recommend this type of cardio for a lot is if you have a lot of extra weight right now. It is pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie. It is intense. So the actual protocol that I did while getting prepared for this kickboxing fight that got me like super omega fit, essentially, in terms of the actual like performance, like my cardio, for how long I can keep going and all of that. It was basically trying to simulate a fight. So what I would do is these intervals of 20 on, 40 off. You do that 6 times. That's 1 round. After that round, you take a minute rest and you go for another round. And you do 3 rounds like that. You can start off with 2, but honestly, these exact like 20 on, 40 off, or you can do 30 on, 30 off, or maybe you can do even longer intervals if you want. Maybe you can search it up. Maybe you can just ChatGPT, give me like high intensity intervals that I can be doing on an assault bike, or that I can be doing outside while sprinting, which I'm sure is even more fun. And again, I don't know all the science of why this works exactly. I just know that it works because I would imagine it's really good for our body to be in this very high heart rate from time to time, especially for us. Like, we're young, we're not gonna, die there or get sick or something like that. It's just gonna make us stronger, it's gonna make us more fit. But yeah, it's pretty brutal. And right now, honestly, I'm being a bit of a bitch. I'm not doing it. But I think if you have extra weight, then this is going to be a really good thing to do, like once a week. It's going to suck the first a couple of times definitely, and then it's still gonna suck, but you're actually gonna realize that you improved a lot, and that means that, you know, you just got a lot fitter, and then eventually you're gonna lose all the extra fat that you have. So the actual cardio protocol that I'm doing right now that is working is basically my non-negotiables are digestion walks after every single meal. That has to be done because it makes such a huge difference for almost no effort, and it makes you feel so much better. And then I do some sort of movement every single day. So today I went on a run. It was like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes, zone 2. 2 days ago on Monday, I had a kickboxing session in the morning. And if you can find a hobby like that, that's gonna make you do cardio, that's gonna be super helpful as well. And for example, yesterday, I didn't have anything kind of like that in the morning. I just went on a walk. So after the gym, I went ahead and did 30 minutes of zone 2 incline walking. Movement every day is a non-negotiable because we just basically sit around all day, and we need to be moving our bodies in order for them to function properly and feel a lot better. So I feel like this protocol is pretty doable for everybody. If you can add sprints on top of that once a week, then that's literally going to be perfect. And obviously there are going to be days where, you know, something goes wrong or something like that. It happens for me as well. But if you just keep in mind this thing of like, okay, I want to be moving throughout the day as much as possible, and I want to be doing some sort of activity every single day, gym doesn't count, then it's going to do wonders for you in literally just a couple of months' time. Now, this section about cardio honestly took a lot longer than I expected, but I feel like this was the biggest unlock for me. I'm just gonna list all the other things briefly that you should be doing if you wanna get jacked. Not gonna go in depth on them in this video. So first of all, you wanna get body weight scale and food scale. You wanna be weighing yourself every single morning. And with your food, what you wanna be doing, I'm gonna assume that you know all these basic things of like, don't eat, you know, junk food and stuff like that. Obviously, prioritize whole foods. And tracking food is a huge thing. It's actually not that difficult to do, especially when you're eating whole foods and you can just weigh them on that kitchen scale that you just got. But basically you want to figure out how many calories you're eating per day. You can use MyFitnessPal for that. And then you need to be logging in your weight, like body weight, daily as well, to see how this amount of calories impacts your weight. And then you can actually make a decision, okay, if you want to lose weight, then you just drop the calories. If you want to be in a calorie surplus to build muscle because you're skinny, then you just bump up the calories. And it shouldn't, by the way, be drastic changes. It should like literally be 100 calories at a time per day. And then you see again how that impacts your weight and you go from there. So you basically need 3 apps. You need an app where you're going to be tracking your food. You need an app where you're going to be tracking your workouts. Going to talk about this in a second. And you need an app where you're going to be tracking your body weight. And with body weight, don't look at the picture day to day because your weight is going to be fluctuating, but look at an average of the week. So your app should have this where it's going to be showing an average for the week, and it's going to be showing the difference to the previous week. And that's something you want to be looking at. You don't want to be looking at, oh shit, I gained, you know, a kilo from yesterday. I'm getting fat. I need to drop my calories. No, that's normal. That's, you know, fluctuations in your weight. You're holding water. You didn't sleep well, whatever. You want to be looking at weekly averages. Now, yes, sleep, by the way, I'm sure you already know this thing. Like, just don't be a retard. Get as much as possible because it's really good for you. I'm sure you already know all this basic stuff. And with your workouts, I mentioned you need an app where you're gonna be tracking your workouts. So what you wanna be doing there is you wanna be following some sort of routine, just doing the same exercises every single week, but tracking your sets and weights for those exercises so that the next week you can add a bit on top. Try adding a rep or try adding a bit of weight. That way you can actually progressively overload. And again, I know that you know about progressive overload, but so many people don't do it. And I feel like it's really good for 2 reasons. First of all, you actually make progress because you become stronger, and you know, let's say you're skinny and you're trying to bulk up, you're gonna be eating more and your weight is gonna be going up. And it's not like necessarily immediately you're gonna get more jacked, but you're gonna see, okay, my weight's going up and I'm actually getting a bit of stronger. Like I'm able to add a rep or a bit of weight every single week to every exercise. And that's gonna just reassure you that at least, obviously you're gonna be putting on some fat when you're gaining weight, but it's gonna reassure you that I'm gaining muscle for sure, because you're just getting stronger. There is no other way around it. And the second reason, it's actually gonna make gym fun. So what's fun in the gym for me is that I'm kind of competing with myself from last week. I'm trying to beat the weights and the reps I did last week. And it just turns it into this competition where you actually have a purpose of going to the gym. You need to kind of like set a PR every single session, every single week. And that makes the whole process a lot more enjoyable. Now, I didn't cover everything that I would like to cover. There is a bunch more stuff to talk about, and I would like to go in depth on all these topics, but we talked about cardio, which like, if you're a video editor, I know this myself, you probably aren't moving a lot, and especially if you have been consuming a bit of fitness content, all these like science-based fucking dickheads that tell you don't do cardio after a workout because you're gonna lose all your gains. Stop listening to that. Start doing cardio, because that's how our bodies are meant to function. Start moving as much as possible throughout the day. That was really the topic that I wanted to cover today, because that was the biggest game changer by far for me. And it's gonna make you so much more money in the long term as well, because you're gonna feel so much better about yourself. You're gonna be so much more creative, and you're just gonna be the type of guy that knows that, okay, I follow through with my word. So I know I deserve to charge 500, 1K, 2K per video and make 5, 7, 8, 10K per month, just because you have an identity of someone who actually gets shit done, who takes care of himself, and that is insanely helpful. Sweet. So if you are making 1K per month with video editing already and you want my personal help in scaling to 5 to 10K per month while actually improving other areas of life like fitness, then click the first link in the description. But in any case, really appreciate you watching. Hopefully you found this valuable. Hopefully this thing is gonna change your life, because it did change my life. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.